Let's see, how about now? Okay, perfect. So sound is working. Everybody, welcome back to our channel here in Elite Raceway. We are back in the Interlago Motorsport Circuit in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Here with our Tier 2 group on round 2 of Season 4. So, 14 drivers on the grid today. Should be an interesting race. Possibly 15 if Untitled is able to join during qualifying. But let's see, who do we have out on track? I believe that is Mr. Quick and Thick. Yep, putting in the first time, and Cowboys for Life putting in 109.1. So we were here in Tier 1 on Saturday. I believe our fastest lap was a 17.2. Uh, could be expecting high 1.7s from a couple of drivers, but about 109, 108 should be around it for Tier 2. But it will be about 36 laps around Brazil. Right now we have the 18-minute short qualifying session to see who will start on pole position. And let's see who else is putting in there's Snake and Beans going a little bit on the grass right there. A bit of mowing. And we do have DRS Maestro on his lap right now. So he was our winner for round 1 last week in Bahrain. So he is first in the championship now, holding it. But looking forward to see if he's able to continue on getting podium for the next couple of races. Does have a lot of potential to be in the championship contention, so we are looking forward to seeing him. And it definitely looks like he got a lot of practice in, because he's doing quite a solid lap right now. Getting right on the curves. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a banger of a first lap. He is having a second purple sector. That could just be because of he's putting in his first time. And it looks like he's going to put a 108.5, so that's going to put him in first right now. And that's Mr. Quick and Thick. I believe he retired in the pits. It looks like he had a bit of a crash on the straight. Not exactly sure what happened there. So let's see who else is. I don't think. Yeah, DRS isn't going to go in for another lap. Yeah, so we do have your favorite Jake on an out lap right now. Also Cowboys for Life. We are going to stick with Jake soon. We also have his teammate and Kimbrel coming out of the pits on his out lap as well. Does a nice job to get out of the way right there for the drivers behind. I don't think they are putting in a lap. Actually, Snake and Beans looks like he is. In Sector 2 is up on his time, so it looks like, yeah, it looks like he was just on a banker lap on the lap prior to that. So does improve, gets a 112.7. He did say he didn't get a lot of practice, but he could still climb up the grid, no issue with that during the race. All right, so we do have Jake on his lap. So we do have sector 1 over here, turns 1 and 2, known as the Senna S, which was the steep downhill. Then we do have our first DRS straight leading into turn 4, which is now going to lead up to a uphill on turn 5. So it is quite a tricky track just because there's a lot of grass. So obviously you want to go the limit with the curves, but just one touch on the grass is going to spin you. And DRS Maestro with the 108.2, so he does improve on his time, keeps pole position right now. We do have Sean Frosty as well, who's up on his time by 0.06 of a second. So your favorite Jake is about to cross the line. He is going to put a 110.0, moves him up to 8th. Back to Sean Frosty, up 0.5, so that is going to put him up to possibly P2. Yep, so he bumps down Cowboys for life. Now, a lot of drivers are going to have to be very careful turn 1 and 2 because you have to slow down quite a lot, and if you don't put the if you put too much throttle in, you're definitely going to spin. We did see quite a few drivers get caught in that in tier 1. I think 3 drivers lost traction and just went straight into the wall. But yeah, just a matter of being patient, and slow and steady wins the race in certain corners. So we do have room on his lap. In sector 2, he's up by 0.3. Might not put him up to get past Cowboys for life, but we're not sure how much time he's able to pick up here on this straight. Yeah, so he does improve, gets a 108.9, only 0.2 off of Cowboys for life. You have Polar Droog, didn't improve. Dr. Dammy on his outlap right now. Yeah, so we do have XM, who's the only driver who has yet to put on the lap, but he might. Plenty of time. Dr. Dammy up 0.4. And N. Kimbrell talking about the symmetry on his lap time, so he gets a 1.11.111. That is the first time I ever see that, so that is highly impressive, I will say. And oh, Dr. Dammy on the grass. Definitely lost a lot of time, so he's gonna back out on that. He's gonna get out the way for the driver behind. I believe that is Cowboys. What was it? No, that was Snake and Beans. And looks like the DRS Maestro is gonna go out for another lap. And if any of them are listening, it'd be nice to know exactly what the race conditions are going to be. Because we do know that it tends to rain in Brazil. Let's see, so Snake and Beans Oh, Jake, thank you very much for commenting. So it looks like it's going to be a dry race. I know a lot of people were were praying it wouldn't rain, which honestly I don't even blame them. And oh, Dr. Dammy disqualified for going the wrong way. So that, if I'm not mistaken, is going to push him down to the grid. Oh, that's unfortunate for him. Wow. So it looks like Snake and Beans wasn't able to improve. We do have XM on his lap now. And DRS Maestro as well. And ooh, right when I switched the camera to him, having a little bit of a loosey goosey right there. And Jake, thank you for the happy birthday. So XM looking quite solid. If I'm not mistaken, he did get a podium last race after a couple penalties given, so he did have a pretty good start of the on the season. And Vroom as well, if I'm not mistaken, got a P2. So a lot of strong contenders. XM going up to 5th with a 109.2, separating the two Aston Martins. And looks like DRS Maestro went back into the pits after that almost spin. Ah, okay, DRS Maestro. So it looks like he's practicing the pit entrance. So it is highly common to get a 10-second penalty on entering the pits on this track. So that is actually very smart to practice it for that. Don't want to be that driver getting the 10 seconds. And ooh, Snake and Beans right on the curve. I honestly thought he was going to invalidate that lap. But it looks like he is down on his time. Somebody else improving. Do have room up by 1/10 from his time, so that can, if he's able to pick up a little bit more speed on this next straight, can move him up to P3. I know, keeps him in P4. So only still 2/10 away from Cowboys for Life, who looks like he invalidated his lap, so he's going to go around again. Yeah, unfortunate for Dr. Dammy, honestly, gained the disqualification, but he does have pace to climb up the grid. If I'm not mistaken, he got a pretty good position last race. Let me see if I can go check that really quick. Oh no, I think he had a bit of an incident on the last race. But anyways, he does have a lot of potential to climb up the grid. Our yellow flags, I think that is Sean Frosty getting out of the way for Cowboys for Life right there, who is on his lap. Now, oh, Cowboys for Life up 2/10 off his time, so that might push him up to P2. Squeezing every battery out of that car. And no, it looks like he lost quite a bit of time on that straight, so he did improve by 1/10, but it looks like not enough to get past Sean Frosty. Sean Frosty on his lap right now. And DRS Maestro as well, so we'll look, well, who's on his outlap, so we'll look at him afterwards. A couple seconds left of the qualifying, so will be interesting to see who's able to get that full position. Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on DRS Maestro as well after we see how much Sean Frosty's up on his time. Yeah, so he is up by 3/10. DRS Maestro, well, you can never be sure with the game, but it looks like he was down. He's still down. Oh, actually, no. Purple second sector, and oh, he spins. DRS. So lucky for him, Sean Frosty wasn't able to improve to get past DRS Maestro on the pole position. He is lucky on that. That's an expensive lawnmower. Wow, he was up on his time, but very unfortunate, but quite fortunate still to keep that pole position. And practicing again to pit, hopefully. There's my show. Everyone saw that. I hope that doesn't happen during the race, I will say, but let me just remind everybody not to ready up. Give me 1 second. All right, so that message is sent. So our grid will be DRS Maestro starting on pole, followed by Sean Frosty, Cowboys for Life, Vroom, XM, Don Valentin, Dob Walters, Your Favorite Jake, Mr. Quick and Thick, Ox Aim, Polydrug, and Kimbrough, Snake and Beads, and Dr. Dammy. So close times for top four, and then the rest of them as well. Alrighty, so if any drivers are listening, or if you're new to the league listening in, we do have a rule regarding readying up. We do give the drivers a couple minutes to ensure that they have their strategy set up, have their setups ready. Um, just a couple minutes helps, especially if there are changes of race conditions compared to qualifying and race. But after that, we do have a formation lap. So there are, well, in Tier 1, there were a variety of different strategies. Uh, I believe there were 3 safety cars. Hopefully not as much in this group, but it is Brazil. Like I said, turn 1 and 2 are quite tricky, and you do tend to lose traction if you put a little bit too much throttle in it. But you also have the grass. If you go onto the grass, you are sent into sometimes a wall. But hopefully we don't see that many spins or that many crashes. All right, so we do have a couple more seconds, but if the drivers on track are listening into the stream, just a very brief reminder to please be sensible and cautious on the first corner after the formation lap. On the race start, you know, drivers will be close together. The driver in front of you is going to have a driver ahead of them, so please be prepared to brake um, appropriately and just make sure you give the other driver space. I mean, honestly, if you want hard racing, fair racing, give the driver space. You don't want to be cutting across them. Um, you're here to have a good battle, so just make sure you give the space, respect the space, and have fun. So let me just see where they are at. And oh, it looks like XM is going to have to exit out of the race, so he's going to retire after the formation lap is done, unfortunately. We are sad to hear that, but hopefully next week we're able to get you racing again. But they do have the go, and so the timer should be counting down now. Alrighty, so yep, looks like we do have a variety of strategies. We have DRS Maestro, Cowboys for Life, XM, who's going to be retiring in the pit soon, Don Valentin, Mr. Quick and Think, Oxame, Snake and Beans, and Dr. Dammy on softs, and then the rest on mediums. Nobody on the hards. So they will be counting on an early safety car because I believe by lap 7, those softs start feeling a little bit too difficult to handle. Alrighty, so we do have DRS Maestro again on pole position. We'll be having the outside line into the corner. Hopefully no incidents, but thank you for the camera angle, EA. So we'll be on board with Cowboys for Life, trying to see if DRS is able to get a good launch ahead of Sean Frosty. Lights are off and they are going. DRS Maestro having a great start to the race right now. Do have Sean Frosty on the inside of Cowboys for Life. Cowboy Snake's right behind him. We do have a loss of position by Dob Walters, who has a spin. I don't know if he has any damage, but back to the front. Yeah, fantastic start by DRS Maestro, but he is on the soft, so that was most likely guaranteed. So we do have your favorite Jake on Broom. Those are yellow flags. If I'm not mistaken, that's N Kimbrough on the grass. 10-second penalty for corner cutting. That's crazy. Wow. Um, 10-second penalties. We have Don Valentin right on your favorite Jake. Is using a little bit of battery and is going to try going on the outside. Your favorite Jake defending the inside, slots in right behind him. And Don Valentin going a little bit wide, and that's contact. Oof. So that's Jake with both end plate damage. And honestly, this is not a track where you want damage on the wing. I mean, there are so many curves. You have Oxame right on his tail. Contact between Oxame and Jake, who's much slower right now because of the wing damage. Yeah, you have to follow. You have to follow behind very safely behind a driver who has damage. So now we have Mr. Quick and Thick who's behind Oxame. Oh, brakes! Locks up and has a bit of a spin right there. Is back on track. So DRS is enabled. We have DRS Maestro with a over 1 second lead ahead of Sean Frosty. Oxame in the pits. I'm surprised Jake isn't going into the pits. Has a comfortable gap ahead of Dr. Dammy right now, 3 seconds ahead of him. So he may be more focused on position right now. And if there's a safety car, it might help him a little bit, but he is quite slow on those corners right there. And we do have Polar Drew closing in a bit on Dr. Dammy. And Snake Beans right behind Polar Drew as well. Yes, looks like nobody's going to have the DRS up ahead as Dr. Dammy on the grass. Does well to avoid the wall, it seems. And I think if he's beached, he can reset back on track. And I'm hoping he's listening to this. And he's disqualified for... Yeah, see, that's fine. It's important to read the rules. If you are beached, you are allowed to reset back on track, just because obviously that's a game glitch. I know he was trying to respect the rules, which we highly appreciate, but yeah, no, that's completely the game's fault. We wouldn't fault you for that. Oh wow, that's unfortunate for him. Wow. All right, so we do have Snake and Beans on the back of Polar Drew. And is he going to make an overtake? Ooh, slots in right behind him. He is going to have the DRS on this next straight. Should be able to get an easy pass done. Yep, so Snake and Beans making a easy overtake on the outside. Polar Drew, I believe, got wing damage right there. And a little bit of contact. Looks like no. Yeah, looks like no. Perfect. Car's perfectly intact. So Sean Frosty has caught up to DRS Maestro, who's on 4-lap old softs. Sean Frosty 4-lap old mediums. No safety car yet. And we do also have room closing in on Cowboys for Life. Same strategy difference. So Sean Frosty is going to open the flap. Not using any battery to keep up or to catch up to DRS Maestro. Has really good straight line speed. And now using the overtake is going to go on the inside. Easy pass for Sean Frosty. Looks like Room is going to stay right behind Cowboys for Life. We do have also Poldrew having the DRS on Snake and Beans, but not closing in quite as much as Sean Frosty did on DRS. Alright, so Sean Frosty with the fastest lap on the mediums. And that is yellow flags, and that's Snake and Beans on the wall. Yeah, you can see from Mr. Quick and Thick's point of view, looks like, yeah, looks like exactly what I said about turns 1 and 2. Yeah, it looks like he lost traction, just went straight into the wall. And that is a safety car, so that is going to benefit the drivers on the softs. Very unfortunate for Snake and Beans. Having not practiced a lot this week, he still had a really good run for the first couple laps. Hopefully he's a lot more lucky next week if he's able to participate again. And Kimbrel picking up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So Sean Frosty chooses to stay out. DRS Maestro switching to the mediums. And looks like Don Valentine's staying out because his teammate Vroom was in the pits. So to avoid that double stack, looks like he might most likely go into the this next lap. It's always good to have a teammate who can also compete in the front, but if you're in the front with them, it is difficult when it comes to the pits. Yeah, so it looks like different strategies. Cowboys for Life, Vroom, and Jake on the hard compound. Jake's lost quite a few positions. I'm hoping, yes, that's because they did change his wing. And no, it looks like Don Valentine is going to stay out with the 8-lap-old softs, and Mr. Quick and Thick as well, staying out on those softs. I mean, it's gonna be very tough to defend against those drivers behind them that are on fresh tires. But position changes. Let's see. We do have Sean Frosty up 1, Don Valentine up 4, DRS Maestro down 2, having pit, but he is on the fresher tire. Mr. Quick and Thick up 5, Cowboys for Life down 2, Bob Walters up 1, and Kimbrel up 1 as well. And Vroom, Polo Drew Vroom down 3, Polo Drew up 3, Jake down 1. Uh, it's quite a bit of a switcheroo amongst the pack. So they are waiting, if I'm not mistaken, for Ox Aim to catch up to the group. And oh, DRS Meister getting very close to Don Valentine right there. So safety car should be going in this lap. And just to recap, we do have Sean Frosty leading the safety car. So he will be starting off the restart. Yep, so safety car is in this lap. And oh, DRS Maestro going straight to the back of Don Valentine. And I don't know if that caused any damage. Yeah, looks like he's missing his right end plate, so that is going to hurt him. So it looks like Sean Frosty is off, and oh, we do have Mr. Quick and Thick going into the pits. Dob Walters going on the inside of Cowboys for Life. A really great move. Cowboys for Life losing the car and now straight into the wall. And looks like he did lose his left end plate. And up ahead, we do have DRS Maestro making the move past Don Valentine, who's on 10 lap old softs. So is going to be having a lot of trouble defending against those cars with the fresh tires. Oxame right behind Poladrug, both getting past and Kimber, who is getting lapped. Oxame losing the car, locking up and losing the car. Trying to go for the inside line right there. And now Don Walters catching up to Don Valentine. Both on 10 lap old tires. Don Valentine with softs again, Don Walters with the mediums. That is yellow flags in sector 3 with Oxame, if I'm not mistaken. DRS enabled now. And so we do have DRS Maestro on the back of Sean Frosty with the DRS activated. And looks like Oxane picked up a 10-second penalty for a collision with Cowboys for Life. I'm guessing that was going into the pits, if I'm not mistaken. And oh, Dob Walters also locking up and losing the car. So that is yellow flags. If I'm not mistaken, that's Oxame. Haven't made contact into the wall, and we do have up ahead DRS Maestro going for the move on Sean Frosty. Getting the move easily done. Does have that right end play damage, but is actually faring quite well. Sean Frosty is going to get the DRS enabled or activated right now, however, is going to go on the outside. Easy pass for Sean Frosty right there. And we do have Jake on the back of Poladrew. And ooh, close. Gets mighty close to Poladrew. Don't think he received any damage from that. Yeah, it looks like he didn't. But is trying to get that pass done. And Don Walters has joined the party as well. Jake is going to have the DRS advantage on this next upcoming straight. Gets the move done before the braking zone, and looks like DRS Maestro up ahead as well. Got the move done in the same location. And looks like Dob Walters... No, looks like he is going to stay behind the two in front. And we do have Oxane who retired and left. Did have an unfortunate race. I had a couple spins right there. And ooh, Sean Frosty losing the rear a little bit there. Might hurt him a little bit on this next upcoming straight, but we'll see if he's able to pick up or close in that gap. Does have the DRS activated. Looks like up behind we do have Poladrew on the back of Jake. Not yet able to make an overtake. And Sean Frosty still staying behind DRS Maestro. So there is a 7-lap-old age difference between the tires, and Poladrew... Looks like Dob Walters got the move done past Poladrew. So there are 21 laps still left on this race. Sean Frosty now closing in on DRS Maestro. Going to go on the outside. Gets that overtake done easily. And DRS Maestro is going to have the straight line speed with that end play damage, but stays right behind Sean Frosty. And we do have Dob Walters closing in on Jake as well. Both of them, actually three of them, Jake, Dob Walters, and Poladrew, now catching up to Don Valentin, who is on 15-lap-old softs. Props to him to actually be taking those tires that many laps. Jeez. That is talent. Mr. Quick and Thick going into the pits is on fresh old mediums now. Oh, Polo Drew making the move on the outside of Dom Walters there. Gets the move done before the corner. And Don Valentin going into the pits now is going to be opting for the mediums. And DRS Maestro staying behind Sean Frosty still. Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, Sean Frosty is the only... No, both he and Dob Walters are the only drivers who have yet to pit. Now DRS Maestro leading the race after having gotten the pass done on Sean Frosty. Sean Frosty is going to get the DRS again. Looks like he's going to stay right behind DRS Maestro. And honestly, DRS is doing a fantastic job despite that right end plate damage. Yeah, fantastic job, honestly. And oh, Dob Walters picking up a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. Yeah, that was for corner cutting. Wow. And Mr. Quick and Thick now with the fastest lap with a 110.8. Okay, Sean is going to try making the move on the inside. DRS Maestro not really defending that. So Sean gets the move done. And looks like your favorite Jake, the battle between your favorite Jake, Polo Drew, and Dob Walters has diminished a little bit. Dob Walters now 2 seconds behind Polo Drew over a second behind Jake. That might now be Jake's hard compounds finally kicking in and having the better advantage compared to them. Yeah, Dob Walters with 18 lap old mediums, so was bound to lose a couple of time from the other ones. So great battle between these front two, and they are helping each other out a lot with the DRS now over 9, almost 10 seconds ahead of Broom and the rest of the pack. Yeah, it's pulling them up further away from the rest of them. And let's see, penalties. We do have 3 drivers with penalties. As mentioned before, Dob Walters with 10, Cowboys for Life with 10, and Kimbrel with 13. And Kimbrel doing a fantastic job as well. I know he's still not used to the no traction, but as we've mentioned before last week as well, our league runs no traction. He did take up the challenge, and honestly doing a fantastic job still keeping the car alive. And looks like the DRS Maestro is going to go into the pits. And Sean Frosty also has yet to pit, so it's going to be interesting to see the strategy that the DRS Maestro is going to pull. Is going to get that wing fixed. Now opting for the mediums. And looks like he is going to come out behind in P6. Oh, getting a little bit close to the wall right there. The pits. Jeez. So there are 15 laps left remaining on this race, and this one included. Yeah, I don't think there are anybody else who is closing in. Bob Walter is now 4 seconds behind of Poldrew going into the pits, and almost, well, lost it for a second. That was crazy. Okay. So replacing the 21 lap old mediums, and looks like he's going to be going for the soft compounds, and is unfortunately serving the 10-second penalties that he received. So now DRS Maestro up to 5th. So we will be taking a look at DRS Maestro's gap between the 3 ahead of him. As mentioned before, Sean Frosty still has yet to pit. And looks like Sean Frosty is actually pitting right now, picking up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which is going to hurt him a lot if DRS Maestro comes closing in on him. So now our driver leading the race is Vroom. Sean Frosty opting for the soft compound, same strategy as Bob Walters. And DRS Maestro now picking up the fastest lap with a 110.0. And looks like DRS Maestro came out less than a second behind of Sean Frosty. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is the that is the ghosting car of N. Kimbrough getting out of the way of the leading cars, which we highly appreciate. Even if it is ghosting, we do tell drivers to get out the way, just because we never know if some drivers drive cockpit mode, so it is a bit of a distraction. And oh no, N. Kimbrough now retiring on the track, if I'm not mistaken, which is hopefully he's listening, is a big no-no. And looks like we do have Jake and Poladrew pitting, and that is a safety car. Actually, might have not been a retirement on track, might have just been a collision of Ben Kimbrough into the wall probably. So that is a safety car, and that is probably going to benefit. Well, here's hoping Sean Frosty has another set of fresh tires. Honestly, benefiting of Vroom action, who was still leading the race with 16 lap old hards. So if I were Sean Frosty, I'd probably try getting rid of that 10-second penalty. There are 12 laps left of the race. Looks like Vroom is going to be going into the pits, and Sean Frosty choosing to stay out instead. See, so we have Vroom opting for the softs, which isn't a bad idea. The Ars Maestro staying out on the mediums. So for tier one, we did have 5 drivers DNF, and looks like tier two, 5 drivers as well. So that might just be the lucky number of Brazil of Brazil catching a car's victim. So they are going to have to wait for Bob Walters, Mr. Quick and Thick, Cowboys for Life, and Don Valentin and Polar Droop to catch up to the rest of the grid. And actually, we do have Polar Droop on the hard compound, which is a different strategy, but it is going to take a couple of laps for the hards to kick in. But we did see in tier one that the soft tires by I think 10 laps were slowing down. I think there was a battle between Moikuli and Game Boy. We get Game Boy on the mediums. Kind of the same strategy as the RS Maestro is going for. Um, Obviously, every driver, the way they handle the tires is different, but it is interesting. It is going to be interesting to see how the ending will be. So it looks like Cowboy and Quick and Thick are catching up. Dot Walters still going to take a while, so might go around one more lap. And no, actually, looks like the safety car is going to go in this lap. Isn't going to wait for Dot Walters. So we do have Sean Frosty now leading the safety car restart again. Hopefully, DRS Maestro doesn't run into the back of him or get wing damage again. looks like Sean Frosty is going. Has a really good start, and Vroom closing in a little bit on DRS Maestro, but still staying right behind. So again, Sean Frosty does have that 10-second penalty. And looks like behind Don Valentin getting the move done past Polar Drew. So like I said, those hards are going to take a couple laps to actually kick in. But Polar Drew still faring quite well. Does have Cowboy who's right behind him on all those 4-lap old softs. Oh, Jake almost losing the car right there. Does a fantastic job catching it. But he is going to stay. He's using a little bit of battery to stay within that DRS of Vroom. So DRS is now enabled. And looks like we have Cowboys for Life going on the inside of Polar Drew. Gets that move done nice and easy. Great clean pass right there. And up ahead, Jake still behind Vroom, but closing in quite a bit as well. And now Sean Frosty over a second ahead of DRS Maestro, so it looks like DRS isn't going to get, ironically, the DRS on Sean Frosty. Your favorite Jake on the back of Vroom, still staying right behind, and looks like Mr. Quick and Thick getting the pass done on Polar Drew before the corner. Ooh, Polar Drew getting very close to the back of Mr. Quick and Thick. And looks like he is going to get the DRS on Quick and Thick. It actually seems like Mr. Quick and Thick has left end plate damage. Not exactly sure when that happened, but he is missing that end plate. So it is going to be a bit of a suffer on those corners in Sector 2. Going on the inside of Vroom. Great space given to each other, and Jake gets that pass done. Vroom is going to get the DRS on Jake now. Not enough battery to really get the overtake done, but fantastic move by Jake on the inside. And great drive by the Aston Martins. Both teammates up in P4 and 5, so that's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, they're leading or they had a great start on the first race, so they are first in the Constructors' Championship now. So it would be great points for them. And oh, speaking of that, Vroom almost going to to the back of Jake. Fantastic job avoiding that, honestly. But that does bring Cowboys for Life close into the battle. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the Kick Saubers are also in second place in the constructors at the moment. So Mr. Quick and Thick and Sean Frosty doing well to pick up some points as well. Now Sean Frosty over 2.5 seconds ahead of DRS Maestro. Only 4 or 5 laps remaining on this race. So again, he does have that 10-second penalty, so it is going to cost him quite a few positions if the drivers stay close together like this. You can definitely tell from the delta that he's trying to get that gap. And oh, it looks like we have room going on the outside of Jake. Fantastic room given, and oh, Don Valentin almost going into the back of, or the side pod of Jake onto the grass. Honestly, great job avoiding each other, but that was a great overtake between Vroom and Jake. And looks like that's a safety car as well, and Dob Walters. Not exactly sure what happened, but there are 3 laps remaining, and there is a safety car. So it will be a battle on the podium position. So if Sean Frosty chooses to pit, he is going to have to serve that 10-second penalty and is going to lose a lot of positions. And it looks like he is going to choose to stay out. Yeah, Top Vault is very unfortunate for you, honestly. I mean, yeah, hopefully you have better luck next race. But it does look like only driver to pit is Polar Drew. So if I'm not mistaken, sometimes, well, especially now because third lap will be the last lap, but the safety car doesn't go around 3 times, so it does either go around or return back to the pits on the same lap or on the next lap. So looks like Polar is gonna go for the softs. So DRS Maestro, this is another test to make sure you don't run into the rear of anybody. And yeah, it looks like, yeah, exactly what I said. So safety car is in this lap. And we do have Sean Frosty leading the safety car restart. Is taking his time, is giving the safety car enough time to get back into the pits. And he is off, is using the battery. So 2 laps remaining, and as we mentioned before, Sean Frosty does have that 10-second penalty. Mr. Quick and Thick now picking up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. So DRS is going to be activated on the last lap of the race. And no, that's yellow flags, that's Cowboys for life. Now back on the track, and then right in front we have Don Valentin getting past Vroom. Not exactly sure what happened there, but looks like the teammates switched right there. So DRS is going to be activated on this lap. DRS Maestro on the back of Sean Frosty, Jake on the back of DRS Maestro. And looks like the overtakes are going to possibly be done on the last straight at the start finish line. We do have Broom on the back of his teammate Don Valentin. The RS Master doing very good to actually save up battery for that final straight. On the power, and is closing in quite a lot on Sean Frosty now. And is he going to get the overtake done on the line? No, but he does get the win because, as we mentioned before, Sean Frosty does have that 10-second penalty. And it looks like Broom wasn't able to get the overtake done on his teammate Don Valentin, so his teammate is now P3, Jake P2, and DRS Maestro P1. Great race, honestly, towards the end. Jake, driver of the day, honestly, well deserved. He did get front end plate damage on both of them, but still managed to get podium. So fantastic drive from him, honestly, well deserved. So that is another win for DRS Maestro. So that is going to increase his lead, and also for the Aston Martins, that's going to increase their lead as well. So just to go over the grid, so we have DRS Maestro with the win and also getting extra points for the fastest lap, so that's a 110.0. Then we have Jake, Don Valentin, Vroom, Sean Frosty, who went down to P5 due to those 10-second penalties. Then in P6, Mr. Quick and Thick, Cowboys for Life, Polo Drew, and then the rest, Dub Walters and Kimbro, Oxham, Snake, XM, Dammy, DNF'd, unfortunate. Um, we will look on Dob Walters to see how many laps he was able to complete. I can't exactly remember, but there is a certain percentage for being classified for finishing the race. So we will look into that. But honestly, great race by these guys. Ending was exciting. And for those who are not aware, we do have our no assist division in about an hour. Uh, so we do have, if I'm not mistaken, a full grid for that race. So should be a very exciting race again here in Brazil. And for next week, we'll be in Austin, Texas. So also stay tuned for next week. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And that way you'll get the notifications for our races. So everybody will catch you in about an hour. It will be hosted by Turtle Commander and I, our division admin. So we will see you guys